Today we are going to tackle a very heavy topic. We're going to talk about self-hatred and anxiety. I'm going to share my personal story on how I have overcome this and how you can overcome it in your life. Well, hello and welcome. My name is Arica Angelo, helping gentlemen like yourself all over the world become the man that she desires. And I've been doing that as a dating and relationship expert for 12 years. And today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to share with you my personal story about how to overcome self-hatred and anxiety. So, when we struggle with self-hatred, when we struggle with anxiety, these things really sabotage us when it comes to finding love, with connecting with people, with not feeling as alone, because we feel really trapped in these things. When you feel self-hatred for yourself, what do you want to do? You want to hide yourself. You don't want to go out and show yourself to the world. The last thing you want to do as a man is go out and show yourself to women. And what does that bring on with that? Anxiety. It's these questions of, I'm not enough. People are going to reject me. If people really saw the real me, they would be repulsed by me. I actually understand all this quite well because I've actually struggled with this in my own life, and I've worked very ferociously to overcome these things through coaching, through therapy, and through just receiving some inner healing and actively pursuing that. So if you've struggled with this, it's just absolute hell. I remember, I'm just going to be very candid and very honest. When I was a little girl, I struggled with tons of self-hatred. And I think that as a coach and someone that serves people for a living, like this is my profession, that I also have a responsibility to share like how I got to where I am. Because, I think sometimes we can look at people on YouTube and we can go, oh, that person has it all together. Or of course, oh, she's a beautiful woman. Of course, it's easy for her to tell men what to do because she's a woman and she has like all the power because she's got a vagina and she's hot, whatever. But that's just not the case. It's not reality. The reality is I struggled a lot with self-hatred, and I've been very open about my journey with anxiety and CPTSD. But self-hatred was a really nasty booger for me to overcome. It makes me a little nervous sharing this because, it's a vulnerable thing to share, but I think we get healing by sharing our story. And this is something that I've overcome. It's not something I'm still working through. It does try to creep up from time to time, and I just nip it in the bud. But yeah, self-hatred constantly had me in my thoughts. It made me feel like everybody else had life figured out except for me. And I'm sure right now during Corona, where people keep getting quarantined, it perpetuates these thoughts even more because you have more time alone. But when I struggled with self-hatred, sometimes I would get so angry at myself that I would hit myself as a little girl. I would go to my face and I would just whack, 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 and hit myself in the face, and I would pull my hair. And I would yell at myself in the mirror and say, "You're so stupid, Arica. I hate you. I hate you. You're so stupid." And I feel like some of that is a bit generational. I know that some of my family members along the way, even like grandparents, had struggled with being abandoned and things like that. And so sometimes these things, we pick it up genetically. Sometimes it's from our family background where, there's self-worth issues there. But for me, self-hatred was a really dark demon for me to just overcome. And I would get really angry about myself and feel like I wasn't smart enough. I couldn't figure things out. I couldn't as a girl, oh, every other girl has a boyfriend except for you, Arica. You don't have a boyfriend. And so I would just really take myself down these really dark places. And then over time, anxiety starts perpetuating that as well, because it starts putting the pressure on you of, you have got to figure it out. You have got to do something about this. You are an outcast, and if you don't change something, and the two just become these this war inside of you. And if that is you, I highly encourage you. I'm launching a very private August coaching experience. It is an application based only, so you can fill out the application in the comment section. There's a pinned link there, or in the description box, you can fill all that out. But it's working at the heart of things. I always believe that the reason why we can't find love, or we keep getting in the wrong relationships, or we sabotage relationships, we file for divorce, you cheat on the girlfriend because something in your foundation was broken. My foundation was severely broken as a child, which was immense amount of self-hatred, tons of anxiety, tons of rejection. And so for me, my journey to healing began very early in my 20s, and I've been really fortunate to be surrounded by some of the best healers in the world. But it wasn't something that was really given to me. It was something that I pursued. In fact, one of my coaches, they've kind of been like my life coaches, and because of them, I am where I am today. But one thing that they said about me, they said, Arica, you pursue freedom like no one we've ever seen. Like if there's a situation where fear comes up in your life, you run at fear. You don't run away from fear, you run at fear. And these are the kind of clients that I love to serve, who had that mindset like myself. It's like, okay, there's an issue here. I'm going to run at it. I'm not going to run from it, because it's those clients who run at fear are the ones who have the biggest breakthrough. They're able to get the girl of their dreams. They're able to get in the career that actually like makes them excited to wake up every morning. So I started working with healers very young, in my early 20s, because I just knew something inside was broken. So when I talk about foundations being broken, typically they're broken on the inside of us. So as I started working with these healers, I went from to therapist, to coach, to healer, and that's sort of been my journey. And so the thing is when you feel like, okay, this is a problem in my life, the first thing that you've got to do to heal it is recognize that it is a problem, that it is sabotaging you. It's not your fault, but it's in your life and it is causing you problems. And so that means that you have a responsibility to yourself to administer healing, to get some clarity, to get some resolve around this. And we talk about like self-love, self-care. I talk a lot about this in my videos. And one way to love yourself is to realize that you don't want to live in this hell any longer. You don't want to live in this torment any longer. So if this is you, I highly encourage you, like, do something about it. Reach out to me for some one-on-one coaching, or for this August special that I'm doing right now. Because that was what got me my freedom, was my commitment to run at fear as opposed to running away from fear. And once you make that commitment, the right coaches start showing up. You start getting ideas of like, oh, this is how I want to tackle this. I remember I got really inspired, and I believe I've shared this in my YouTube videos. I went through a really difficult time in my life. I've gone through many difficult times in my life, and I'm happy to share those things with you guys, because I don't want you to feel alone. And I think that that's what keeps a lot of us from experiencing love and acceptance, is we feel so alone. So as I share my story, is so that you don't feel alone. I don't want you to look at me like, oh, this is some coach who has it all together and she's just talking down at me. No, I'm talking with you. This is a conversation. I'm just able to give you some tools that I've picked up in my own life that have brought me freedom and breakthrough. But I remember, like, when I made that commitment, the right coaches came in my life, but I actively pursued them. They didn't just show up and say, hey, Arica, we want to coach you. I pursued them. I saw a gift in them, and I said, I want you to help me. I'm going to pay you money because I cannot live this way in my life. And I remember as I was going on that journey, you know, my coaches were helping me, but I just was super aggressive about getting whole on the inside, about healing my foundation. And I remember going to 5 women that I deeply trusted, and I asked them, write down 10 things that you see about me that you really love. Maybe things that I don't see about myself. And I would take that list and I would just read it over and over and over and over again. I just shared this with a friend this weekend at a beach here in Bali, Indonesia. And it's having that commitment, having that drive. And as you do that, like I said, the right coaches come, your intuition will guide you and say, this is who you need to reach out to get some guidance on this. But listen, my love, I promise you that you can overcome this. For me, self-hatred, like if that starts showing up in my life again, I run directly to my mirror and I start encouraging myself and affirming myself and reminding myself of who I am. And so it's the most important thing that I can encourage you with is get a commitment to wholeness. If there's anything that you get out of this video, I want you to know that you're not alone, first and foremost. I want you to, in feeling not alone, that you're loved, and that there are tools, there are answers, but it does start with a baseline of commitment, of committing to yourself that you can no longer live this way. Because chances are you're not successful with women because there's something in your foundation that is broken. Just like my foundation was broken. Inside of my foundation of love on the inside of myself, it was severely broken. There was self-hatred in there. There was anxiety in there. And those things kept making my life fall apart. I kept building the house on top of this broken foundation, and then everything would fall apart. And I got tired of things constantly falling apart, and I was like, what's the problem? And I went to the foundation. And so if this has helped you, then know going to the foundation and being committed to healing and resolving that is the first most important step. Now, I'll continue to share more and more about this, but it requires that commitment and to become that emotional warrior, which I'm supporting men with through this August coaching special. So make sure that you apply for that. And I hope that you're one of the guys that I select. Listen, my love, I just want you to know that there is hope. There's tons of hope, and not to give up on yourself, because I didn't give up on myself, and the times that I was ready to give up on myself, I had the right people in my life. I pursued those people and said, I need you in my life, and I didn't do it alone. And I want to encourage you, don't go at this journey alone. It's not worth it. You didn't come into this world alone. You needed your dad's sperm, you needed your mom's womb and vagina, and you needed a doctor to pull you out. Never in this life are we meant to do it alone, so don't do this alone. But babe, you have what it takes. Make a commitment to yourself. Love yourself enough to make a commitment. And know this, no matter where in the world you are right now, that in this very moment, baby doll, you are so loved. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comment section, like what part really spoke to you. And like this video, that really helps me. And if you haven't subscribed, like please subscribe, because I like to give fun dating advice on this channel, which is fun. And I think the practical stuff needs to be addressed, but also equally as important, if not more important, it's this inner stuff of having a solid foundation so that you don't keep repeating the same mistakes, so that you don't keep staying in the same cycles. That's my heart posture for you men out there. I love you so much, and I will see you in my next video. Make sure to apply for that August coaching special. I really would love to connect with you, serve your heart, and champion you so that you can be the emotional warrior who's committed to healing his foundation so that he can become the man that she desires and wants to stay with and keep. I'll see you next time. You take care, babe.